Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast with your hosts, Akainu Fanboy and Geboss, and today we are going to be talking about Chapter 1041, Komurasaki. And so, first off, we have putting punching Niji and Yonji, which is funny because we were thinking, she might release them, but looks like she's getting some payback on them, and
well-deserved payback.
Yes. And I was trying to think she would have found out. I don't know, maybe she kind of heard and just saw the way they treated him a couple of times. Oh, wait, no, because he took off the electronic face, basically, and his face was all messed up.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, because with her, can she read people's minds with her abilities, like their memories? I forget.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
She can.
So maybe because she edited out Sanji's things, so she might have seen that too.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this could always be like an act to get close enough to like light it on fire kind of thing too, you know, to like get them out of there also. So yeah, she could both mean it and maybe it's like a ploy, but they're still developing up that plot line. So that's cool. It's cool to see Pudding again.
Yeah.
Which then brings us to Momo, and we get to this interesting aspect where some pages were ripped out of Odin's journal, and so what are your thoughts on that?
I obviously think it's because Oda doesn't want to give away, like we were talking about how, well, if they have Odin's journal, then what's stopping them, besides just Luffy being Luffy and not wanting to spoil anything? Like, what's stopping anyone like Momo or Yamato from knowing about Laugh Tale? And so yeah. I think this is a good thing, but it begs the question when the pages were ripped out, because I don't remember exactly how Yamato found the journal. Did she find it was it like thrown out of Odin Castle or something?
I believe so, yes.
So if that's the case, then it was probably Toki who did it. So Toki probably knew something, because I think she knew something anyway because she was from 800 years ago. Mm-hmm. So she might have had the foresight to rip out those pages to prevent Kaido getting the knowledge, knowing that she was probably going to die.
Yes, because obviously Kaido wants that information. Orochi would maybe want that information too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's kind of this aspect too where Momo will probably play a role somewhere down the road, and he can't know about it, Yamato can't know about it, so we need to kind of create that suspense. And I think this kind of goes in further how Odin wanted to open the borders, but Momo still can't do that, basically, right? So kind of like the fulfillment of his character is going to be the destruction of the borders, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, when Momo was talking to Yamato, it's saying kind of what we've been saying, like if it would mean exposing the people of Wano to danger, I don't want to open the borders. And that's what we were kind of thinking about, because if Momo does open the borders, then what's stopping from the government from coming in?
Nothing really at that point.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it resolves, because I mean the government's there with CP0. Like you see Zunisha coming up on their warships, and we were thinking next time that we saw Zunisha that he was gonna destroy the ships.
Mm-hmm. And it is interesting because the government wants this island for the Sea Stone, and then the Sea Stone's brought back later on in this chapter in regard to Orochi. We'll talk about that later, but I do think it is interesting how Oda's reintroducing that element into Wano, of one of the reasons why it's special. But when we move over to the third floor, we still get another panel of the Kage fight again, and then you finally get the winner, Raizo. So that's a big relief to know how it concluded.
Yeah. A good thing we used up all that panel time.
Yeah.
for this fight.
We needed just one more. But it's interesting how Jinbei's saying, like, why aren't you running?
Yeah.
And then when you get to the contrast with the Orochi, his first instinct was, where's Rokuju, right? Fukurokuju. There you go. So his first assumption was like, okay, that coward that ran. So it's like more characterization that, let's say, we have Momo who's struggling with his bravery, and then you have the Scabbards who are kind of like perfectly brave because they've taken on Odin's will, and then Orochi's like the complete counter to that, right? Where he's a coward to his core, right? So Momo's kind of going back and forth a little bit. So that was like his first instinct: did that person leave me, right? And then he's saying to Komurasaki, just put down that instrument real quick, and then I'm not sure, did she cause the rocks to go down, or was that just chance, or is maybe it's possible that
Denjiro.
Oh man, yeah, Denjiro, right? Yeah.
See, he's so forgettable because he hasn't been in the story for like 40 chapters.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking at the panel where it looks like Komurasaki's laying on the floor with when Orochi's yelling about Fukurokuju, and then she gets back up. I wonder if she does anything then, or I don't know. I think it might just be chance, but unless she can I don't know. But you were gonna say something about this next part with the sea prism.
Right. So, well, one I like the art of him where he finds out Odin's her father and everything, and just the face mask. And I think there's kind of that element. Well, I mean, it was more of a heavier element, I'd say, in Whole Cake. The element of deception too. That was especially potent here, but you get it kind of bleeding over to Wano, where there's a lot of surprises and twists, where you have a lot of people who are masked and who are different and who have false identities. So like Komurasaki, and then Orochi was a traitor too, right? So there's this kind of, and then obviously Appu betraying and Hawkins betraying Kid. There's just kind of a lot of betrayal that kind of bleeds over from
Denjiro
to Wano. Yeah, exactly. Then you get into more of kind of like, let's say, the mass nonsense. Well, before I get to that, yeah. So at Komurasaki, like, again, like, she's able to betray him in a way where to deactivate his devil fruit too, right? Basically, he's getting defeated by the product he's been selling to get rich, as Shogun too. So there's another degree of irony there as well.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I don't know. My issue with it is that how come Orochi didn't feel the nails? Because you think that would be something that...
He's in love.
Yeah.
He's also an idiot. Like, he's not aware of anything.
That's true.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's like kind of the exact opposite of Odin, basically. And oh well, I don't know what that was, but I think I think like when it comes to Odin, you know, he's just kind of like this guy that has no self-control and he's just completely oblivious, you know. And I think that's part of the reason too.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the? We get to the next CP0 guy going down.
We actually get a name for him. His name's Maha. So the CP0 agent and Izo take each other out, which it kind of shows how strong the CP0 agent is. Even though Izo was wounded, like we were going over before, like what they've done. They've taken down Numbers, Drake. They fought the Kanjuro spirit.
They got through a bunch of minks too at the beginning, also.
Yeah. And now they're fighting a Whitebeard commander. So they're pretty impressive, but it looks like they're both taken out for the time being.
Yeah, and it was more like kind of, again, I'm not trying to take away from Izo, but it didn't seem like a stronger thing. It was like, I tricked you kind of thing, you know, because it kind of reminded me of Usopp, because Izo and Usopp had that interaction earlier in the story, and I'm starting to see Izo as like the Usopp of the Whitebeard Pirates kind of thing. Well, the sniper, if you will. Yeah,
well, I kind of see it like they just hit each other at the same time with kind of the same attack, like the CP0 agents using the finger pistol and Izo's using regular pistol. So it can get explained away by hockey, but like okay, I'm trying to remember back all the way to Water 7 when they used Iron Body. Didn't those block bullets?
Yes, swords.
Yeah,
you know, all that type of stuff.
I mean, this can probably get explained away with Izo putting hockey on bullets, even though I don't fully understand that. I thought it had to be in contact with him, but
yeah, no, I'd say this whole fight scene's a little ambiguous because we just kind of cut to it. Because remember, they were just walking away in the last time we saw them, you know.
Yeah,
and it looked like the other guy really participating from what we can tell either, because he looks pretty clean after this panel.
Well, it looks like he got knocked down just by like the puff of smoke under him.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't seem he's taking much damage, and then he gets a call, and the 5 elders are they work these poor guys to death. They need a raise, as far as I'm concerned, right? Where now they have to not only get Nico Robin, but they have to go for Luffy in the middle of a Yonko fight.
Yeah, and I found it hilarious. So I always thought that because he's been kind of so stoic, that the scarf CP0 agent, that was just a mask. I didn't think it was like his face. So just seeing him like so pissed off and like just in disbelief of what he's being asked was kind of funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's just like, do you want me to interfere with the Kaido and Luffy fight? Like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because I don't think Oda's done that before, where like, yeah, he'll give impossible missions to Luffy and then the mission gets accomplished. I can't think of a time where he's given an impossible mission to a villain.
Yeah.
You know, so I find that kind of humorous, you know, because when you're just like going after Nico Robin, it's like, okay, yeah, theoretically I can see her getting captured. That's not the most insane thing to comprehend. But then Oda just kind of amps it up. So I'm wondering what's the design of what they're trying to do. Maybe just the whole point is just to express how much the world government want Luffy taken out, and that this scenario is not going to happen at all, basically. You know?
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about this beforehand. Maybe this relates back to when the elders were in front of Imu, and what they wanted to do with the light that needed to be snuffed out. But I think this is more of a afterthought of that. I think they were trying to go after Vivi or someone. And I think this is just kind of a spur of the moment thing, because they didn't know that Luffy was going to be fighting Kaido.
Yeah, because that conversation with Emu was a couple weeks ago, from what we can tell.
Yeah,
the reverie hadn't even ended yet, so a good amount of time has passed, and yeah, I'm curious. And then you have good old Drake. He's looking great. Just came back up, so maybe like they'll fight again, or he'll hold them off.
Yeah,
enough kind of thing.
Even though Drake got off screen by the same guy.
Yeah. So we'll see. I know he's taking a little bit of damage, but maybe like they'll have another interaction where it fleshes out more of the Sword CP0 dynamic too.
Maybe.
So yeah, we'll see.
But do you think that Drake's gonna die based on his words? Like, I can't die with nothing to show for it, or do you think that it's just kind of over dramatizing it?
I'm gonna chalk it up to bravado just because the next couple panels we saw people that should be dead. So
you're just being a hater.
No, it just instantly reminds you of what's been going on.
Drinking that haterade.
Look, if Drake dies, that'd be cool for his character. Don't get me wrong, but as soon as we see Kiku and
Kinemon,
it's bad. I'm sorry. And then it's on Hamlin, right? Hamlin or Hamlet? Sorry,
Hamlet.
Giraffe looking good. Kaku V2 running around the Onigashima. It's like, dude, it's. I don't know. Potentially, maybe they die because you see Izo talking about Kiku. It's just like these people. The tenacity of these people is more impressive than Big Mom at this point.
Yeah,
they were just like that more powerful. So, then your Bay Carrot is back in the story.
I was gonna say, as long as you're not saying that Carrot's one of the ones to die.
I'm just thankful that Carrot hasn't been in the story at all, so it's been. I haven't been salty about that. So
she's gonna join up soon. Trust me.
Yeah. Yamato, get out of the way. Here comes Carrot.
Yeah.
Then you see good old Frankie coming in clutch.
Yeah, we were talking about that last chapter. And Zoro just looks bad. Like he's so out of it.
Mm-hmm. Because I saw some theories where it's like he was going to defeat the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
And then like the side effects were going to apply or something. It looks like that didn't happen. So.
Yeah, he's gonna lose his way to the afterlife. He's gonna get lost.
He looks a little KO'd, and so maybe that's kind of Frankie or Oda. Oda was trying to manifest the Grim Reaper thing just to show how much bad shape Zoro is in potentially too. So, which does kind of make you think of Elbaf. Since it's kind of like a mythical tale. And I think in some of those lore, when it comes to the giants and everything, there's like some special type of fruits or treasures and everything. I'm kind of curious to see if like that could be used on Zoro to kind of help him get out of the negative conditions, you know?
You want another bullshit pill?
Yeah, why not? Bullshit pill to fix a bullshit pill, because unless Chopper gets really good. I mean, like, yeah, that could be a way for Chopper to do it, but I assume throughout Elbaf, he's not gonna, be in commission for the looks of it now. It looks like ZKK is not gonna happen either, believe it or not.
Trust me, the Zoro fanboys are still
holding out hope.
Yeah. Although they probably didn't. They don't read chapters unless Zoro's in it. So
that's true. Again, we're talking about fanboys, not fans. So I just want to throw that out there for the record. But at least we get the goat Zeus in the next page too, though.
Yeah,
I miss seeing Zeus, and he doesn't really seem to be too upset about Big Mom. He looks a little nervous, but yeah, she's gone.
So, are they in the same place that Sanji's in? Because it's in the bath. Although it says forehead floor, he was on like the one of the sides. He wasn't like in the middle.
Yeah.
But also, I thought Zeus couldn't come out of the Climateact.
I guess I don't know. Maybe Nami kicked him out. I guess it looks like he's on bad behavior right now. But actually, I thought it would be interesting. It would be funny for Nami to find Sanji, though. Just another little gag and everything.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, yeah.
And Marco's just kind of healing the Tama's two animals.
I love how there's just theories that Marco was going to help fight Kaido with Luffy because of that old folktale, and he's literally healing fodder.
Okay, it was a plausible theory.
It was plausible. It's just funny. I'm not like crapping on the theory. It's just funny the difference.
Yeah.
Of what happened, and then it emphasizes again, Big Mom is no more. Big Mom is gone.
Yeah.
And Blog Kid seemed like, okay, we're done now. We can't go take out Kaido, and then you get a good clash between Luffy and Kaido too.
So usually we do these reviews when the early scans come out without the official translations and everything. But I'm reading from the official translation, and I find it interesting that when Law is saying like, if the man who emerges from that fight turns out to be Kaido, then I don't have the willpower left to resist. Whereas in the scans, it said I won't have the strength to stand up to him or something. But I find it interesting that they used willpower because of hockey, like the strength of the hockey is related directly to willpower. And it shows like these two are on a whole different level than everyone else.
I wouldn't say like a whole different I think part of it's they're just spent. They gave everything.
No, I mean, yeah, Luffy and Kaido are on a whole different level.
Yeah, I still think Law and Kid there's some form of competition. They're weaker, but I think like they're primarily drained out for going all out on Big Mom. I think I want to just get off this little mini rant because it kind of goes into what we were talking about last week, where it says, "Did you sense that too? They're really gone and done it. Lin lost the fight." I will fully acknowledge we haven't seen the white eyes, right, from her. But at the same time, I do want to point out we didn't see the white eyes from a lot of different people who got KO'd. It was kind of obscured. And it's interesting how Kaido senses it. So he may just be sensing her off the island, but she's been kicked off the island before and has come back up. So I'm wondering if it's just kind of like, no, she's like KO'd, and that's why he can't sense her.
I mean, I think that's it. It's probably like how you can sense it, people with their with observation hockey, and even back to like Skypiea, when people were knocked out, you couldn't sense them with observation hockey.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good. I like that analogy right there. Yeah, I assume his observation hockey is on par or greater than NL, right? So
yeah,
when you kind of get to that point where, because it's like, oh, she just fell off the island, don't worry, she could just go out her homies and come back up. And I'm wondering why that is the case right now. Why haven't her homies just flown over to her, and then she just comes back up if she's like doing so okay, but I kind of just want to like emphasize this point too, where like Big Mom lost, she took an L, Law and Kid defeated her, because I know like some people are saying, oh, she just got kicked off the island, she didn't like really lose, strictly speaking. If they were floating on an island, then she would have won. But it's like, okay, then I can simply retort like, well, if there was no fodder around them, the Big Mom would have got defeated a lot quicker, because she needed that to keep on getting powered up.
That's true.
Right? So it's kind of like with Demon Slayer, where like, okay, but with the whole Rengoku Zaka fight or whatever, it's like, he almost killed him with the sun, right? But the thing is, that would still be a W if that happened, because Rengoku can't like regrow his limbs like Akaza, right? Yeah. It's just, some people just have different powers, and I think there's a difference between like a hard counter, like, so if Sugar were to hit you, right, where it's just like a lot of people would be weak against you, compared to like, no, it's on you because you couldn't take into account your surroundings, basically. Like, that's a part of your loss, you need to make up with that, and that shows a deficiency in your strength, basically, right? Because Kaido obviously wouldn't have that issue if he got knocked off the island. He just would have, because it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to speak to anything to fly. Big Mom does.
Yeah.
That's just my rant. A little annoying power scale rant, but I just think it's kind of disingenuous. I'm not even a Law or Kid stan, I just kind of think it's like undercutting their victory. That's all.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. But speaking of Big Mom, we see a flashback from Kaido about when he met Big Mom. So hopefully in the next coming chapters we'll finally get our Kaido flashback. Do you have any thoughts about that, or not really?
It's interesting because they're kind of emphasizing the age differential between Kaido and her too. You know, because sometimes it seems like they're from the same quote unquote generation. Maybe it's kind of like more how Blackbeard is relative to the Supernova, you know?
Yeah.
Where there's like an age gap, but they're kind of all part of the worst generation in a way. And it's interesting how he gets emotional again. It's kind of like with Doflamingo. When Doflamingo got taken down, he just gets in this similar state. And then you have that really cool panel with Luffy. I had a hard time recognizing him.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, just... I was realizing it as we were talking about this. That one panel with his hair, it looks like fire. And I don't know the exact name of it, but there's some sort of like, I want to say it's a Japanese like deity type of thing that has like the smoke clouds behind him like that with the hair. And of course you have like the sun god Nika thing. And I think just that one panel is kind of showing, it's kind of hinting about that.
Yeah. No, that's I like that. I hadn't realized that because it kind of adds to this idea of Joy Boy and Kaido and like you're not Joy Boy, and then you see him really. And this was triggered over the discussion of dreams. Like he's like, I don't care about your dreams because they're evil. It's interesting because you know everybody says like Luffy's not a hero. He kind of is, you know. Like he's not like a relativist when it comes to people's dreams. He has like a moral standard. How he'll like decide what are the good dreams, you know.
I mean, he's doing this for the people of Wano because he's friends with Momo. I mean, but then again, he's Luffy's always put his friends before everything else. And
and that's the exact opposite of Kaido, whether it be leftovers and disposable crew members, right? You know, it's just control and domination for him.
Yeah, and like he just uses people like he did Orochi.
And I think, I mean, it's kind of funny because snakes and dragons, I'd say there's slight overlap, you know, just kind of the slithery creatures, you know, betrayal. And I think kind of this other aspect, we get this theme of despair, right? This theme of, deception and mass and all this different stuff from CP0 to Komurasaki. It is kind of interesting where I got this vibe heavily at the end. I'm not trying to take away anything from Luffy because it looked powerful. It felt a lot like their first interaction when they fought, where he's just taking a beating while he's drunk.
Yeah.
And it looks like Luffy's getting the upper hand, and I think a walloping might start happening pretty soon. So it seems like a lot of what Kaido does to feel his fighting spirit is despair. Alcohol the trigger to exasperate the despair, but he's a very depressed character, and for some reason that gives him the will to fight.
Yeah. Quickly going back to the snake thing. Speaking of that, the new Luffy attack's called Hydra.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. I mean, they're all snake themed, but so speaking of that, he says, "This is my final Gear 4th. I'm not stopping until I've completely run out of strength." So when I read the spoilers, I texted you just saying like we're basically in the end game of Wano now, because all that's left is Kaido and Luffy. So I don't know if this is going to be something, but he says, "This is my final Gear 4th." Do you think that there's going to be a Gear 5th, or do you think that he's going to beat him with Snake Man or whatever?
Okay, so I know there was a controversy with the whole Kin Law thing. This is my last thing, and then they showed more. And again, like you and I were kind of saying, that's more of like a Awakening's more like a state. It's not one attack. It's like an ongoing, right? My first instinct, like, that's bullshit with Luffy. You know, there's gonna be more beyond this, right? Because let's say Rob Lucci had his flashback. I'm thinking back to that. And then he got off a brutal attack on Luffy right after, if I remember correctly. And then Luffy's about to get taken down, and then he thinks about his friends, and then he does that Gear Second, and then Lucci goes flying out, basically.
Yeah.
And so, if the flashback's around here, Kaido's gonna rally hard, basically. Because he's starting to think more and more about his past. And I think that's just gonna motivate him to go crazy, in a way. I think, Gear 5th's open or Awakening. I think those are the two. I know that sounds generic, but I'm just thinking about it in regard to Log Kid. I prefer Gear 5th over Gear 5th or Advanced Form of Gear 4th over Awakening. I want Luffy to not have something that his rivals have at this point to kind of even it out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is interesting how Oda's emphasizing again, like, the Kage fight's over, Big Mom fight is over. It's just this.
Yeah.
This is it.
Like, the only lingering plot thread is the Denjiro and Orochi and Komurasaki thing. But that's almost over, too.
So which begs the question, which is going to come first, the conclusion of this fight or the conclusion, the Komurasaki thing? Right? Because
I think the Komurasaki thing, but I think, wouldn't it be hilarious if it's Denjiro who kills Kaido?
Yeah.
I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, man. No, for sure. The reason why I brought that up is because if her plot gets resolved, I could see her playing a song to celebrate.
Well, yeah, cause that's
how
each act ends.
And I know we've been kind of speculating that, like, is there going to be an Act 4 and 5? So maybe, like, she finishes her thing up, and then it starts leading into Kaido's flashback, and that's the start of Act 4, and then the end of the flashback is kind of like the Kaido fight starts to happen, and then Act 5 is like whatever the world government does here, basically. You know, kind of like the party scene, if you will. Because I feel like the party scene in itself would be its own act, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the conclusion for Dressrosa was a lot happened, but that also had to establish, like, the Grand Fleet and everything. So I think that it could go on a while.
I mean, even the world government's saying, like, the stakes are higher than ever, right? This is, like, a lot bigger than, like, Dressrosa. So it's like... Yeah, because there's that debate with the 5 acts versus 3 acts, and it seems like Act 3's been going on for a while. So I don't think if it doesn't stop here, maybe it's just going to be 3 acts then. But Act 3 is going to be pretty massive when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, Act 3 is like the climax of the story, if it's in the story structure, the 5-act story structure. And then Acts 4 and 5 are kind of falling action.
Yeah, that's true.
So I remember high school literature.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fire. I just saw that little thing where he says tears in his beer. That F in the chat for Kaido. That's awful.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what's really gonna enrage that guy. That's what's gonna make him go crazy. But yeah, I'd be really hyped if we really got the flashback for Kaido soon. I think I'd be really excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that would also expand kind of on maybe Joy Boy because of what was going on with King.
Yes.
When he was talking with King. So.
Yeah, and maybe some extension on Queen also just similar age group too, and Whitebeard, maybe Roger.
I mean, if we go into the flashback with Kaido, I expect to see something with rocks, and so Whitebeard, Roger, all of them would be in that flashback.
Yeah, definitely. It is weird how they kind of introduced the whole rocks concept, and one's still going and the other isn't.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating kind of piece to it. Yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, any more indie thoughts? I thought it was a really good chapter, a lot in it. It's moving the plot along, and it's definitely piquing my interest.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next, obviously, but yeah, I don't think I have much to say. So what we have left is the Zunisha and the Marines, the Komurasaki, Orochi, and Denjiro, and Luffy and Kaido, and that's basically the plot threads that we have left. Unless I'm forgetting something.
No, I'd say, I mean, yeah, Drake CP0 maybe.
Oh yeah.
And maybe there's kind of that, and it kind of looks like Oda resolved the Zoro thing. It seems like he's just KO'd.
I think we'll get more information about that after Kaido's taken down, because that seems like an end of, like a resolution type of thing, like when he was recovering from Kuma.
Yeah, and I think the Zunisha and Momo thing might correspond at the same time, where maybe like Zunisha takes the hit of the bombs or something, and like sacrifices itself. There's a couple of things that Zunisha could do, and they're always shown closely interacting with Momo too. So yeah, there's definitely a couple things, but I'm happy with the pace. I'm looking forward to the new chapter this week too. So
yeah, no break.
There we go. So enjoyed the video, everyone. Please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.
See ya.